The sun was hot that morning in the small town of Umiroko. Birds were singing, leaves were dancing, but something else was happening too. Amira, a 13-year-old girl with bright eyes and neat braids, waved goodbye to her mother as she left for work. "Be a good girl," her mother said, locking the front door behind her. "I'll be back before sunset." Amira smiled. "Yes, Mama." Her mother crossed the small gate and walked away in her long office gown and polished shoes. Just a few steps away, Tariq, aged 13, watched his father leave with a black bag and a deep voice. "Don't burn down the house," his father said with a small grin. Tariq laughed. "I won't, sir." By 9 o'clock, both houses were quiet, no mothers, no fathers, just Amira and Tariq alone. They were neighbors and always played together. Sometimes they ran around the backyard, sometimes they played board games or told stories, laughing until their tummies hurt. On this day, Amira had an idea. She stood still and looked at Tariq. "Tari," she said, placing her hand on her hip like an adult, "have you noticed how smart my mama looks when she goes to work?" "Yes," Tariq said. "And have you seen my Baba with his tie and serious face?" Amira giggled. "Let's do it, let's dress like them." Tariq's eyes widened. "You mean dress like our parents?" "Yes," she smiled. "Let's see if we can look like real grown-ups too." They both ran into their houses. Amira tiptoed into her mother's room, Tariq into his father's. Their hearts beat fast, but they were excited. It was just pretend, just for fun. They didn't know this day would change something inside them. As Amira opened her mother's wardrobe, she saw shiny clothes, handbags, high-heeled shoes, and a red box on the table. She opened it. "Lipstick," she whispered, "just like Mama's." But as she turned to leave, something caught her eye, a slightly open drawer with something unusual inside. Amira walked closer, quietly, like a cat at night. She pulled the drawer open. When the bush is quiet, the hunter must open his eyes wide. Sometimes when things seem peaceful, something is about to happen. Amira's hand touched the wooden drawer. It felt smooth, but cold. She opened it fully. Inside was a small book with a soft cover and shiny gold letters. She picked it up and read the title slowly. It was not a school book. Not her mother's Bible. It was something different, something she had never seen. She looked around the room, though she was alone. Her chest thumped like a drum. Still standing, she opened the book. The first page had a drawing of two grown-ups with their faces close. "What kind of book is this?" she whispered. She flipped the next page, another drawing. This time, the man held the woman in a strange way. There were words under the pictures, but Amira couldn't understand all of them. Some words looked big and confusing, others she had heard only in movies. Page after page, the drawings showed men and women doing things she had never seen in real life. Her heart beat faster. She wasn't smiling anymore. She felt confused, curious, but also small. "This is strange," she whispered again. "Is this Mama's book?" She sat on the bed, holding the book tightly. She wanted to close it, but a voice in her head said, "Just one more page." Amira looked again, and again. The book made her feel as though she had entered a room she wasn't supposed to be in. Then she had an idea. She jumped up, ran out of the room, and headed to Tariq's house, holding the book like treasure. "Tariq! Tariq!" she called at his window. "Come out." Tariq opened the door. "Why are you breathing like you just ran from a lion?" Amira grinned. "I found something. It's a comic book. You've never seen anything like it. Come." Tariq followed without asking. They went to her house and sat on the couch. Is it a superhero book? Tariq asked. Amira shook her head. A cartoon. No, she said with a strange smile. But it's very interesting. She opened the book. Tariq leaned close. They began flipping through the pages together. At first, Tariq giggled. What is this? Amira giggled too. But the more they read, the less they laughed. Minutes passed, then many more. The room grew quiet, no cartoons, no snacks, just the sound of paper turning and two small hearts trying to understand big things. When they reached the last page, Tariq closed the book slowly. He looked at Amira. She looked back. They were no longer smiling. This is not just a funny book, Tariq said. Amira nodded. But why would our parents have it? Tariq wondered. He stood up. Maybe they do the things in the book. Amira looked shocked. You think so? Tariq nodded. Silence. Then Tariq said something that made Amira's eyes widen. Since we were pretending to be our parents, maybe we should try doing what they do in the book too. Amira didn't answer at first. Then she jumped up and said, let's do it. The chick that follows the hawk to play may not return with feathers. When a child follows something too big or dangerous, they may lose more than they know. Amira stood, hands on her waist, eyes serious. Let's try one of the things they did in the book. Tariq looked unsure. He scratched his head. But, which one? Amira didn't answer. She opened the book to the middle and pointed to a page. This one, she said. Let's just act it out, like a play. We are only pretending. Tariq sat down slowly. He didn't fully understand what they were about to do, but Amira sounded sure, and he didn't want her to laugh at him or call him scared. Okay, just for fun. They began acting like the people in the picture. They stood too close, held hands, copied everything. But soon, things started to feel strange. Amira felt her heart pounding, not from fun, but from something she didn't know how to name. Her chest felt heavy. Tariq looked down at his feet. Amira, he said, maybe we should stop. This doesn't feel like playing anymore. Amira looked up. You feel that too? He nodded. They stepped back and sat on the couch again. The book lay between them. The room felt too quiet. Even the ticking clock on the wall sounded loud. Amira rubbed her arm. Do you think we've done something bad? Tariq looked down. I don't know. Amira whispered, what if Mama finds out? Tariq stood up quickly. I'm going home. I think we went too far. He walked out fast, not looking back. Amira sat alone, the book still on her lap. She looked at the pictures once more, but this time she didn't feel curious, she felt small, afraid, and ashamed. She closed the book and pushed it under the couch. Then she went to her room and lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling. Her heart whispered a question she couldn't answer, what have I done? A child who plays with fire will surely burn their fingers. Every action has consequences, especially when we cross boundaries too soon. The next day, the sky was cloudy. The birds were quiet. Even the wind seemed slow. Amira didn't want to come out of her house. She sat on her bed, chin in hands. The book was still under the couch, but her mind was holding it tighter than her hands ever did. Her mother had come home the night before, tired from work. But Amira didn't tell her anything. She just smiled and said, "Welcome, Mama," and went to bed early. This morning, she didn't smile. She didn't laugh. She didn't even want breakfast. Just a few steps away, Tariq wasn't himself either. He sat at the corner of his bed, staring at his toes. His father had already left for work, but Tariq hadn't moved. He didn't even touch his toy cars. His heart felt heavy. Something inside him felt broken, but he didn't know what it was. He wanted to talk to Amira, but he also didn't want to see her. He was too ashamed. "Why did I agree?" he whispered. By noon, Amira quietly stepped outside and sat on the front step. Her heart jumped when she saw Tariq walking slowly along the fence. He saw her too. They looked at each other, then looked away quickly. Tariq walked over. "Hi," he said softly. "Hi," Amira replied. They were both quiet for a moment. Then Amira asked, "Did you tell your Baba?" Tariq shook his head fast. "No." "Did you?" She shook her head too. More silence. Then Amira whispered, "I feel like I did something very wrong." "Me too," Tariq said, sitting beside her. She looked at him. "Why didn't we stop earlier?" He shrugged. "Because we didn't know it was bad until it felt bad." Amira nodded slowly, pulling her knees to her chest. "What if someone finds the book?" Tariq's eyes widened. "Where is it?" "Under the couch." "We have to hide it better," he said. Amira shook her head. "No, we have to return it. If Mama finds it missing, she'll know someone touched it." Tariq sighed. "Amira, do you think God is angry with us?" Amira looked up at the grey clouds. "I think so," she said. "I prayed last night, but I didn't know what to say." Tariq was quiet again. Then he said something unexpected. "I wish we could go back to just playing board games." Amira looked at him and gave a small, sad smile. "Me too," she said. "When a child eats too much meat in secret, their stomach will speak in public. What is done in secret will always show in the end." The sun had started shining again. It was afternoon, but the air still felt heavy, as if something unseen was watching. Amira stood in her living room, holding the book in her hands. It felt heavier than before, even though it was small. She waited until her mother went to the market. Tariq had said his house was quiet too. "Now or never," she whispered. She tiptoed back into her mother's bedroom. Her legs were shaking, her hands too. She knelt by the drawer, pulled it open just a little, and slipped the book back inside, exactly where she'd found it. Then she closed the drawer, very, very slowly. Click. She stood up and ran out of the room, as if something might grab her from behind. When she sat on the couch again, her chest was heaving as though she'd been running for hours. Later that day, she met Tariq near the mango tree at the edge of their fence. "I put the book back," she said. Tariq nodded. "Good, that's good." They were both quiet. Then Tariq asked, "Do you think our parents used that book to learn those things?" Amira didn't answer at first. Then she said, "I think it's not for us to know. But what if we grow up and become like them?" Tariq asked. Amira looked at him seriously. "When we grow up, we'll understand. But now, I think we are still children. And children shouldn't rush into adult shoes." Tariq smiled a little. "Yeah. My grandma used to say, a small head must not carry a big load." Amira smiled too. "But what if they find out?" he asked. Her smile faded. "Then, we'll have to tell the truth." That evening, as Amira helped her mother slice vegetables in the kitchen, her hands were quiet, but her heart was loud. She wanted to talk, but didn't know how. "Mama," she said softly. Can I ask something? Her mother looked up. Yes, my dear. What kind of books do adults read? Her mother chuckled. Oh, many kinds. Bibles, newspapers, novels. Some even read books about marriage and grown-up life. Amira looked down. What if a child finds one of those grown-up books? Her mother paused, the knife still in her hand. She looked at Amira closely. Why do you ask? Amira's heart jumped. She opened her mouth, then closed it. I just wondered. Maybe from school. Her mother nodded slowly, but her eyes were sharp now. Amira, she said gently, some books are like fire. They can give warmth, but they can also burn. Amira looked up. I don't understand. You will, her mother said, when the time is right. That night, Amira lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. She felt lighter than the day before, but not completely free. Something still gripped her heart. A child who tells lies will one day forget the truth. When we hide things too long, it becomes harder to speak. Days passed. Amira and Tariq didn't play like they used to. No more laughing over board games. No more running in the backyard. No more silly games. They still saw each other, still greeted, but something had changed. The fun between them had grown quiet. Every morning, Amira sat by her window, watching the sky. Sometimes she thought of telling Mama the truth, but each time, fear tied her mouth like a strong rope. Mama will be angry, she thought. She might never trust me again. Tariq had his own fears too. Every time his Baba called his name, Tariq's heart would jump. He thought his father somehow knew. Even when his father asked only for the TV remote, Tariq's hands would shake. One afternoon, Amira sat alone under the mango tree. Her mother was still at work, and the house was quiet. She held a pencil and notebook, trying to write a story, but no good words came out. Every line ended in guilt. She dropped the pencil. Then, footsteps. It was Tariq. Hi, he said. Hi, she replied. He sat beside her on the old wooden bench. I had a dream, Tariq said. What kind of dream? I saw both of us standing in front of a church. We were wearing school uniforms. But everyone was looking at us, like we did something wrong. Amira was quiet. I woke up crying, he added. Amira swallowed. Maybe, your heart is trying to clean itself. Tariq looked at her. Do you think God still loves us? Amira nodded. Yes. But I think he wants us to speak the truth. Tariq rubbed his palms together. To who? Amira looked up at the sky. To our parents. Tariq sighed. I'm scared. Me too, she said. But I'm more scared of keeping the lie. They were silent. A leaf floated down from the mango tree and landed in Amira's lap. She picked it up slowly. Then she said something she hadn't said before. Tariq. I want to tell my mama everything. Tariq turned to her in surprise. Everything? Amira nodded. Yes. About the book. About what we did. Everything. Tariq looked down. Then, I'll do the same. That evening, Amira sat at the edge of her mother's bed. Her hands were trembling. Her mother entered the room, smiling, carrying a cup of warm tea. But when she saw Amira's face, she stopped. My dear, are you okay? Amira opened her mouth. This time, the words came out. The mouth that confesses is the mouth that finds peace. Truth may be hard, but it brings healing. Her mother sat down slowly, setting the teacup on the table. She looked at her daughter with calm eyes. Amira, she said softly, what is troubling you? Amira's fingers pulled at the edge of her dress. Her eyes were wet, but she didn't let the tears fall yet. Mama, she began, do you remember the day you went to work last week? Her mother nodded. Yes. Why? Amira took a deep breath. When you left, Tariq came over. We were just playing. But then, I wanted to dress like you. Her mother smiled a little. That's normal. Children love to copy their parents. Amira nodded slowly. Yes. So, I went into your room, looking for your lipstick. Her mother didn't speak now, just listened carefully. And I saw a book in your drawer. It had a strange title. Amira looked up at her mother with frightened eyes. I opened it. Her mother's smile faded. Amira continued, voice soft. It had pictures of adults doing things I didn't understand. I was confused. I called Tariq to come see it too. She looked down again. We looked at the whole book. Then we copied one of the pictures. We thought it was just playing. But later, it didn't feel like playing anymore. The room was silent. Amira wiped her eyes with her hand. I'm sorry, Mama. I really didn't know it was bad. But now, I do. And my heart hasn't rested since. Her mother's hands were still. Her face was calm but serious. She reached out and gently held Amira's hand. My daughter, she said, thank you for telling me the truth. It's not easy to speak when we feel ashamed. But the fact that you did, it shows your heart is still pure. Amira began to cry, not from fear, but from relief. Her mother pulled her close and hugged her. Listen to me, she whispered. That book was not meant for your eyes. It is not a storybook. Not a comic. It is for grown-ups, and even many grown-ups do not understand it well. Amira sniffled. I'm sorry I touched your things. Her mother nodded. I forgive you. But let this teach you, not everything that looks fun is good. Sometimes curiosity can take us where we are not ready to go. Amira whispered. I think I lost part of my innocence. Her mother touched her cheek gently. No, my dear. You only took a wrong turn. But now, you are walking back. They hugged again. Then her mother said, tomorrow, I will visit Tariq's parents. They also need to know. Amira froze. Will they be angry? Maybe, her mother said. But it is better for the truth to be known than for guilt to hide in the dark. That night, Amira slept with tears on her pillow. But this time, they were not from fear. They were tears of a heart being cleaned. The path may be muddy, but the river still finds its way home. We all make mistakes, but we can return to the right path. The next morning, the sky was bright and clear. But inside Tariq's house, the air felt heavy. Tariq sat on the edge of the couch, looking at the floor. He knew what was coming. His father had just returned from morning prayers. He removed his cap, poured himself some water, and was about to sit down when... Knock knock. Tariq looked up quickly. His father opened the door, and there stood Amira's mother. She greeted him kindly. Good morning, sir. May I come in? Yes, please, he said. You are welcome. She stepped in, her face calm but serious. Tariq's heart began to pound faster. His father noticed. Madam, is everything all right? She nodded slowly. There is something we need to talk about. It concerns the children. Tariq's father sat beside her. I'm listening. Amira's mother looked at Tariq. Would you like to speak? Or shall I? Tariq opened his mouth. His voice was small. I'll speak. He looked at his father with worried eyes. Baba, he began, that day you went to work. I went to Amira's house. We were just playing. Then, she found a book in her mama's drawer. His father did not blink. Tariq continued, voice trembling. It had drawings, grown-up drawings. I don't know why, we didn't stop. But we looked through it. Every page. He paused. Then, we acted like the people in one of the pictures. Silence. Tariq lowered his head. I'm sorry, he whispered. I didn't know how wrong it was, but I've been feeling bad ever since. His father's eyes were steady. His lips were pressed tight. Then he spoke slowly. Tariq, thank you for speaking the truth. Tariq looked up, surprised. His father continued. You have done something wrong. But you have also done something brave. Confession is not for cowards. Amira's mother nodded. They need correction, but they also need understanding. Tariq's father stood and walked over to his son. He placed a firm hand on Tariq's shoulder. This is your first mistake, in this kind of matter, he said. And it must be your last. Do you hear me? Yes, Baba, Tariq whispered. You are still a child. Do not rush to wear adult shoes. Those shoes can break your legs. I understand now, Tariq said quietly. His father looked at both women. Thank you for not hiding this. Better a child be corrected early, than punished late. Amira's mother smiled softly. They are still young. This is the time to shape them. That evening, Amira and Tariq met again under the mango tree. But this time, there was no shame between them. No guilt. No heavy silence. Amira held a board game in her hands. Tariq held the dice. Shall we go back to being children again? Amira asked, smiling. Tariq smiled back. Yes. I miss it. The tree that bends early will grow straight. When correction comes early, the future becomes brighter. A week passed. The air in the neighborhood felt lighter, brighter. Amira and Tariq were back to laughing again. They played board games, ran around with sandals flying, and even helped their parents with chores. Their hearts felt clean. But inside them, something had changed. Something quiet. Something strong. They had learned a lesson that would stay with them forever. One evening, Amira sat on her porch, holding a pen and writing in her diary. She wrote, "Not everything is for children. Some things are meant to wait. Curiosity is not a bad thing, but it must walk with wisdom." In Tariq's house, his father gave him a new notebook. "Use this to write your thoughts," he said. "It helps the heart stay clean." Tariq smiled and nodded. He now knew, being a child is not a weakness. It is a season to protect. What this story teaches us. Children are full of questions. But not every answer should come from a drawer, or a phone, or a hidden book. Parents must stay alert. Just locking the door is not enough. Guidance and open talks are more powerful than locks. Silence can be dangerous. What a child does not ask out loud, they may ask in secret, sometimes finding dangerous answers. What can be done? Talk to your children early. Teach them what is right, gently and clearly. Keep adult materials far from children's reach. Watch what they watch. Limit what they click. Give them your time, not just food and clothes, but conversation and love. Be the first voice they hear, so the world is not the one that teaches them wrong. Amira and Tariq made a mistake. But they also made a choice, to tell the truth, to seek help, and to return to their childhood. That is where healing began. So, dear parents, guardians, and even young ones, the river that forgets its source will dry in shame. Let us not forget where wisdom begins, in love, truth, and guidance. Thank you so much for reading this story. If it touched your heart, taught you something new, or opened your eyes, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, this is the Hidden African Folklore Tales, where stories speak louder than noise. Globe showing Europe, Africa sparkles. End.